My name is Alice B. Main. I am 29 years old, and until 2 weeks ago, I thought I was in a stable, grown relationship with a man I trusted. We had been together for 3 years, living together in my condo for the past year, building what I believed was a quiet, solid future. Nothing dramatic and nothing broken, at least not on the surface. Things only started to feel off about 6 months ago. He began complaining that our relationship felt predictable, that we had fallen into routines, that the spark wasn't the same. I thought that was normal, something couples talk through. I suggested trips, new hobbies, date nights. I was trying to fix something he hadn't fully explained yet. Then, 2 weeks ago, over dinner, he dropped it casually, like it was just another idea. "Babe," he said, "I've been thinking we need to shake things up." I smiled, expecting something harmless, a vacation, a move, something exciting. Instead, he said, "What if we experience other people, just once, get it out of our systems?" I put my fork down slowly. "You want to break up with me?" He laughed immediately. "God, no. I'm talking about a hall pass weekend. One weekend, no questions asked, then we come back better." It came out of nowhere, but the more he talked, the clearer it became that it hadn't come out of nowhere for him. He was excited, too excited. He couldn't quite look me in the eyes. He said his friends had done it, and it saved their relationships. He said we were young and shouldn't feel trapped. What he didn't say, but what I felt in my bones, was that he already had this planned. I told him I needed time to think. He pouted. Actually pouted. "Don't be boring," he said. "This could be really good for us." Over the next few days, I watched him closely. He was on his phone constantly, smiling at messages, fixing his hair before leaving the room, putting on cologne just to run errands. Whatever this hall pass was supposed to be, he wasn't walking into it blind. Here's the truth. If I said no, he would resent me, maybe cheat anyway and call me controlling. If I said yes, at least I would be choosing my response instead of reacting to his betrayal later. And unlike him, I wasn't scrambling. I had options too. There was a man from my college years, someone I had always had chemistry with but never acted on. Timing had always been wrong. He moved abroad, then came back 6 months ago. We'd been getting coffee occasionally, catching up, nothing inappropriate, until I mentioned the hall pass idea. He laughed and said, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He definitely has someone lined up." 3 days later, we booked flights. Hotel. Paris. No hesitation. No games. If my relationship was already being gambled, I was done playing small. Last Friday morning, I packed my bag and told my boyfriend I'd be staying with a friend to give us space. He smiled, kissed me, and said, "Have fun." I could see him texting before I even reached my car. He thought he was about to have the best weekend of his life. My flight to Paris left at 2:00 p.m. 3 days later, I am writing this from an airport lounge with a glass of wine I did not order carefully, waiting for my flight home, still trying to process how fast everything spiraled. Friday afternoon, we landed in Paris just after sunrise. Jet lag blurred the edges of everything, but excitement cut right through it. We dropped our bags at the hotel, slept for a few hours, then spent the day doing the most unapologetically tourist things possible. Cafes, walking with no destination, the Eiffel Tower glowing like something unreal. For the first time in a long time, I felt light. Back home, my boyfriend was having a very different experience. I did not check my phone much at first. Time difference, distractions, real life happening in front of me. But Saturday morning Paris time, which was Friday night back home, curiosity got the better of me. I opened my voicemail. 15 messages, 30 texts. The first few were upbeat. "Hey babe, I'm getting ready for dinner. Wish me luck." Then, "Okay, that was a bust. Guy looked nothing like his photos." Then, "Whatever, on to the next one." I almost laughed. Almost. Then the tone shifted. "Why aren't you answering? This is ridiculous. I thought we agreed no drama. Every guy I've matched with is either a creep or flaking. This sucks." Saturday morning his time, the messages softened, then curdled. "I'm bored. This hall pass thing was a stupid idea. Can you come home?" Then confusion crept in. "Why is your location off? Your friend says you're not there. Where are you?" Saturday afternoon Paris time, we were at a restaurant overlooking the river, sunlight reflecting off water, the city humming around us. My friend took a photo of me with the Eiffel Tower behind me, tagged me on Instagram. I reposted it without thinking. It felt harmless, honest. Within 20 minutes, my phone exploded. Paris. You're in Paris. Are you kidding me right now? Who is that man? You said you were staying at your friend's place. This is cheating. You cheated. The mental gymnastics were impressive. He suggested the hall pass. I took it. Somehow I was the villain. I replied once. One sentence. Having a great weekend. See you Sunday night as planned. Enjoy your hall pass. Then I muted him. We spent the rest of the weekend soaking up the city. Cafes, museums, long walks, laughing until our sides hurt. He suggested I post more photos. I said yes. Absolutely. By Sunday afternoon, my boyfriend's messages had fully unraveled. Stop posting. This is humiliating me. My mom is asking questions. I'm calling the landlord to change the locks. That one made me laugh out loud. It was my condo, my name on the lease. He knew that. I landed back home about an hour ago. 50 more texts came through during the flight. I am sitting here now, oddly calm, knowing the storm waiting at home is loud but temporary. My friend texted me, "That was the best weekend I've had in years. Thanks for saying yes." Yeah, same. Time to go home and see how someone reacts when the game they designed stops favoring them. I walked into my condo Sunday night just after 10. The living room looked like a storm had passed through it. Couch cushions on the floor, a lamp knocked sideways, empty tissue boxes scattered like evidence of a long emotional siege. My boyfriend was on the couch with his laptop open, eyes red, face tight, caught somewhere between fury and exhaustion. He stood up the second he saw me. "Where the hell have you been?" "Paris," I said calmly, setting my bag down. "I told you in my text." "You said you were staying at your friend's place." "I did," I replied. "His hotel room." His face flushed instantly. "You stayed in the same room." "It was a hall pass weekend," I said. "No questions asked after. That was your rule." "That's not what I meant, and you know it." I tilted my head. "Then what did you mean?" "I meant like go to a bar," he snapped. "Maybe flirt. Maybe kiss someone. Not fly to another country with another man." "You didn't set parameters," I said evenly. "You said one weekend, no questions. I used mine how I wanted." I could see his brain scrambling, trying to rewire reality in real time. Everyone saw those photos. My friends, my mother. They think we broke up. "Did you tell them about the hall pass weekend?" He hesitated. "No, that's private." "So you're embarrassed about the thing you suggested?" "I'm embarrassed because you paraded another man all over social media." "He's my friend," I said. "We've known each other for years. You've met him." "Years ago," he snapped, "when you said he was just a friend." "He is just a friend." "You went to Paris together." The logic loop was exhausting. I went into the kitchen and poured myself water. He followed me, voice rising. "Nothing even happened for me this weekend. Every guy was a creep or a catfish or ghosted me. I spent the whole weekend alone while you were living it up." And there it was, the truth, not betrayal, not heartbreak, envy. "So the problem," I said slowly, "is that your hall pass sucked and mine didn't." "That's not fair." "What's not fair?" "You weren't supposed to actually do anything," he said. "You were supposed to realize you didn't want anyone else and come home." I laughed, a sharp sound that surprised even me. "So it was a test." "No," he said quickly. "I just thought—" "You thought you'd have fun and I'd wait." He didn't answer. He started crying then, real tears. "I just wanted to feel desired again, like when we first started dating. Guys used to hit on me all the time. Now I'm just your boyfriend." "So you needed strangers to validate you." "You don't understand." "You're right," I said quietly. "I don't. Because I was happy with us until you decided sleeping with other people was the solution." He wiped his face. "I'm sorry. It was a stupid idea. Can we just forget this happened and move on?" "No questions asked," I reminded him. "That was your rule." "This is different." "How?" "Because you actually did something." The hypocrisy landed heavy. That night, he bounced between crying and yelling until I locked myself in the guest room. Monday morning, I woke up to his voice on the phone with his best friend, loud enough that he wanted me to hear. "She's being so unreasonable. She went to Paris with some guy. No, I didn't do anything. All my dates sucked. She's acting like I'm the bad guy." I made coffee, got dressed, walked past him. He hung up. "We need to talk." "There's nothing to talk about," I said. "You wanted a hall pass. We took it. It's over." "It's not over," he insisted. "People think we broke up. You need to post something." Why? Because it makes me look stupid. You made yourself look stupid when you suggested this. He threw a pillow at me. I hate you right now. Noted. I left for work knowing something fundamental had already ended. He just hadn't accepted it yet. I came home Monday night to more noise, more emotion, more attempts to rewrite what had already happened. He told me his mother had called him crying. Apparently, he'd explained the situation as a misunderstanding, said I abandoned him for a weekend, and humiliated him. An hour later, I had a voicemail from her. I raised him better than to be treated like this, she said. You need to apologize and make this right. I texted back once, one sentence. Your son suggested we both take a hall pass weekend. I took mine. He's upset his didn't go as planned. That's the whole story. After that, silence. Tuesday night, he tried a new tactic. He cooked dinner, dressed nicely, lit candles, tried to pull me close like nothing had cracked. Let's just forget this, he said softly. Start fresh. I looked at him and realized how tired I was. I don't think so. Why are you being like this? Like what? I asked. Honest. You're punishing me. No, I said. I'm responding to the choice you made. So what? He snapped. We're just over. I took a breath. I think we've been over since you suggested sleeping with other people to fix us. He insisted again that he hadn't slept with anyone. I told him that didn't make it better, only clearer. Then he slapped me, not hard, just enough to cross a line neither of us could uncross. I stared at him, calm settling in completely. You need to find somewhere else to stay, I said. This is my home too. It's my condo, I replied. My name is on the lease. I'm asking you to leave. He begged, promised to change, swore he'd never suggest anything like this again. I gave him until Friday. Friday came. He moved out with his mother and his best friend. They packed in silence, shooting me looks like I'd committed a crime. His mother tried once more. You're really throwing away 3 years over one mistake. His mistake, I said, was thinking I'd sit home while he played around. They left with boxes and bitterness. I changed the locks that afternoon, $180, worth every cent. The whispers came next. I was controlling, manipulative. Apparently, I'd tricked him by not announcing I was going to Paris. I told anyone who asked the truth. Some understood, some didn't. I lost a few friends. I didn't lose sleep. 3 weeks later, my ex texted from a new number. I miss you, can we talk? No, I replied. Please, I made a mistake. You made a choice, I said. Enjoy the single life you wanted. I blocked that number too. The condo is quiet now, peaceful. I rearranged the furniture, deleted the photos, changed my status to single. My friend from Paris sent me a picture yesterday of us at that restaurant overlooking the river. We're both smiling, genuinely happy. She captioned it, best travel buddy ever. My ex viewed it within minutes. I'm not angry anymore, just relieved. Relieved I found out who he was before I wasted more time. Relieved I didn't stay loyal to a relationship that had already been gambled. He wanted excitement without consequences. I chose honesty and lived my life. He suggested the hall pass. I just used mine better. I didn't expect the quiet to be the hardest part, but it was. After the locks were changed and the last box was gone, the condo felt bigger, like the walls had stepped back to give me space to breathe. At night, I caught myself listening for his keys, for the familiar shuffle of another person moving through the room. Then I would remember there was no one else to accommodate anymore, no moods to manage, no explanations to prepare, just silence, and the steady realization that peace can feel unfamiliar when you've been living in emotional noise for too long. A few days after he moved out, I found the note he'd left behind in a drawer. It wasn't an apology. It was a justification. Paragraphs about how he felt ignored, how he thought I'd lost interest, how the hall pass was supposed to wake us up. Reading it, I felt something finally click into place. This wasn't about boredom or excitement or youth. It was about him needing constant reassurance that he still mattered, even if it came at the cost of the relationship itself. I folded the note back up and threw it away without ceremony. Friends started reaching out more intentionally after that. Not the loud ones who wanted gossip, but the quiet ones who asked how I was really doing. A few admitted they'd felt uneasy about him for a while, the way he framed himself as the reasonable one and me as the emotional one. Hearing that didn't feel validating so much as sobering. It made me realize how often I'd minimize my instincts to keep the peace. The friend from Paris and I kept talking, not constantly, not with pressure, just easy check-ins that felt grounded instead of charged. We met for coffee once, then dinner a week later. No declarations, no labels, just two people being present without games. For the first time in years, I noticed how relaxed I felt sitting across from someone, how I didn't feel the need to perform or prove anything. It wasn't about replacing what I'd lost, it was about rediscovering what I'd been missing. One night, scrolling through social media, I saw my ex had posted a long caption about healing, about learning to love yourself, about toxic relationships that teach you lessons. I didn't comment. I didn't even feel the urge to defend myself anymore. That was the moment I knew I was done. When someone can rewrite the story publicly and it no longer pulls you back into the narrative, you've already moved on. People still ask if I regret Paris, if I think things would have ended differently if I'd just said no to the hall pass. I don't. Saying no would have only delayed the inevitable. The relationship didn't end because I went to Paris. It ended because he wanted freedom without accountability and assumed my loyalty would always be waiting for him. Paris just sped up the truth. I didn't win. I didn't lose. I woke up. And sometimes that's the most unsettling outcome for the person who thought they were in control. After that, life didn't suddenly turn magical. It became quieter, slower, more honest, and that was exactly what I needed. Mornings stopped feeling rushed. I started waking up without that low-level anxiety I used to carry, the constant anticipation of someone else's mood, someone else's dissatisfaction. I realized how much energy I had been spending trying to keep a relationship stable that was quietly eroding underneath me. About a month later, I ran into him by accident. A grocery store, of all places. He looked thinner, more restless, like someone still trying to convince himself he made the right choices. He smiled when he saw me, that familiar half-smile he used when he wanted to appear unaffected. "You look good," he said. I nodded. "You too." It wasn't true, but it wasn't my job anymore to correct him. We exchanged a few polite sentences about work, about being busy, about life moving on. When we said goodbye, there was no ache in my chest, just neutrality, and that felt like freedom. Later that night, I thought about how much I had changed without really trying. I stopped over-explaining. I stopped apologizing for things that weren't wrong. I stopped shrinking my reactions to make other people comfortable. The hall pass weekend had exposed more than just his hypocrisy. It exposed how often I had accepted less than I deserved because it felt safer than being alone. The man from Paris and I eventually took that second trip. Somewhere quieter this time. No photos, no posts, no audience. Just shared breakfasts, long conversations, and the kind of laughter that comes from not needing to impress each other. Whether it turns into something permanent or not doesn't scare me the way it once would have. I'm no longer building my identity around whether someone chooses me. Every now and then, I hear through mutual connections that my ex still talks about that weekend, still frames it as the moment everything went wrong, still says Paris changed me. And in a way, he's right. It did. It reminded me that I don't have to wait around to be chosen, tested, or validated. I can choose myself without asking permission. Looking back, the hall pass wasn't a mistake. It was a reveal, a spotlight on intentions, expectations, and entitlement. He wanted the thrill of being wanted without risking the safety of commitment. I wanted honesty. Only one of those can survive long term. I don't tell this story because I think I handled everything perfectly. I didn't. I tell it because sometimes the moment that looks like betrayal from the outside is actually clarity in disguise. Sometimes the trip that wasn't meant for you becomes the reason you finally leave something that was never going to grow. He wanted to spice things up. He got exactly that. I got my life back.